thought put into the locations?
There was a lot of thought. One of the conditions when we got the rights was from Saramago was that we maintain the fact that the city isn't identified, that it's sort of an unnamed city. That's why he wanted it in English. He wanted it because English would be the most universal possible city. And so, fortunately, that's the way we've been thinking anyway. But of course that raised a lot of questions. It meant it had to be a sort of cosmopolitan city, it had to be multi-ethnic, because obviously if everyone was Chinese, you would think it was in China. And so it had to be a sort of multi-ethnic city. And right from the beginning, our solution was to make this amalgamate city, to combine maybe Toronto with, we were thinking of a number of cities, but when we went down to meet Fernando in Sao Paulo, it was immediately clear to us that that was a perfect location, because it was just anonymous, it's barely photographed, we just didn't have any image of it. It looks like anywhere, it could be anywhere. It's a giant metropolis, it's the 5th biggest city in the world, but we have no real images of it, and you saw tons of it, but it's mixed with Toronto, so it's a really unidentifiable place. And it was also a little bit of Montevideo, Uruguay. So that was the strategy, to come up with this kind of slightly disorienting anywhere city. And I do feel it's very successful, because it seems like a very believable city, but on the other hand, you don't know where you are.
Anything else in the crowd?
As a writer, can you tell us what you thought happened to the receptionist who started the fire?
What happened to her in the end?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel in the end she sort of sacrificed herself for the group. You thought she was running from the possibility of violence, but actually she was thinking that she had a solution, which was her lighter, and so I think she probably was consumed by the fire. And she probably knew that, because obviously fire is one of the more terrifying things for blind people, but you know, the film, to me, is about people learning the extent of their responsibility and also of their power to affect change, and that's certainly the journey that the doctor's wife goes through, but all the characters do in a minor way, and she's one of them, I think. She's a receptionist. She never thinks of herself as a leader or having any real power to change things, but through the course of the film, she quietly learns that she has this little secret power.
I guess I just wanted to know what happens to the rest of the ward, because you seem to be, we're free, and then you see her with just that small group of people. I wondered,
yeah.
There was a scene missing?
No, I think there was no scenes missing. I'm sure you saw the full. I hope. I don't know. Maybe.
I assure you.
Yeah.
You saw everything.
No, I think the fire took its toll on the group, and they did their best to get everyone they could, but it probably didn't work. We didn't want to dwell on that particular point, I think. Yeah.
On the note of screenwriting, adapting a novel is really hard to try to include all of the different pieces in the length of time that you have for a film. So obviously there were many pieces of the novel that hit the cutting room floor, even in the process of screenwriting it. So what parts do you regret that may have been left out, that you just couldn't possibly have shoehorned in?
Right. Well, thank you for recognizing the difficulty. Have you read the book? Yes, some people have, a number of people. I mean, I'm not going to say that there's, a book is successful for being a book, and things are included in a book for different reasons. I remember even when I talked to Saramago when we were talking about the rights, I said that the last third of the book would be the section that I would be cutting most. I think there's amazing things in that, but I didn't think that it would work in the movie. Fortunately, he said, yes, that's the section to cut. So that was a bit of a test. But I think he also recognized that there's a sort of unity of location and action up to when they get out of the institution, and then after that, you're sort of moving towards resolution, and you don't want to extend that anymore. So I think there's great things from the book, but I don't think there's great things that I missed from the screenplay, to tell the truth. That's self-protecting.